It's your boy Tipsy Japan back with another episode of Atas Across Time and Space.
Atas.
Oh, yes. We're back with episode 25.
25.
With my co-host, who deserves more than an introduction, but I never do an introduction. I allow him to introduce himself. Go ahead.
No, it's your boy Ace of Cross Culture coming back with Atas number 25. We are at a quarter of 100. Yeah,
that's a milestone. That's a milestone.
Definitely. Yeah, get that. Pats all around.
Real good.
Pats to you, the listener. Hey, let me get your back right there. Yes.
Yeah. Appreciate that. You know, they appreciate it. Oh, already we got one listener. He's on the line. It might be my shadow. All right, but
his shadow.
My shadow listens, man. He listens to what I got to say. I'm making the decisions up front, and I'm trying to be obedient so that I don't end up making decisions up front. Stay in autopilot and just let him do what he's got to do. How's your week? How you feeling? What's in your cup?
What's in my cup?
Yeah.
Nothing but the blood. No, so. So my week has been all right. I was very productive at work today. It kind of even surprised myself. I was just like banging stuff out. It's like, whoa, okay, all right. But it seems like when we're at our highest, that's when the opposition, the ops, as the kids call it nowadays, try to come for you. Dealing with a client.
That's a paraphrase.
What, the paraphrase? What? The ops?
Yeah. I mean, but that's cool. That's cool. You can go with that. But that's a paraphrase, and I used a similar paraphrase earlier today.
Oh yeah.
Or yesterday, maybe both days. Be careful when you think that you are on top of the game. That's when you need like that protection in your moment of weakness, because you're weakest when you got that fake wall up. All right.
Yeah. So I was dealing with this client, and I was just like, hey, this is what it is. Make sure you have X, Y, and Z in place, because they're gonna call you and they're gonna expect X, Y, and Z. Right? They got mad at me because I guess they thought that I was telling them that they were lying about what X, Y, and Z is, and I'm trying not to throw too much out there because of the population I work with. I'm not trying to air anybody's laundry at all, but it escalated, and I don't even want to say me, Christ living in me was able to subdue my flesh, because
that's what
I didn't come out of my neck and like, oh, you ain't gonna talk to me like that. We about to have words.
That's what you need, man, to stay in that.
Yeah, it was just, and it passed, and I was just like, well, sorry you feel that way. Well, they're still gonna expect X, Y, and Z, so expect a call from them.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you need from me? Okay,
anything else you need?
All right. We out.
Yeah. So that's been my question for the last couple of days. Like, how would Jesus respond? What would Jesus do when somebody's asking for help? Like, what would his response be?
So all of the 90s,
the 90s
stuff coming back. Yeah, WWJD. Trying to make Jesus cool.
there was something to it, but I grazed over it when I was a kid. It was just like, oh, this is commercialism, whatever. Or I mean, it's a little catchy fad thing, whatever. But literally, like, how did he respond when somebody asked for help? Did he ever respond like, nope, I ain't helping you right now? Come on.
Yes.
Who?
Not
a
when
parable.
Mary asked Jesus to visit Lazarus because he was dying.
Yeah.
And then he didn't come until after he got the word that Lazarus had passed.
It looked like he was dragging his feet.
Yeah, but I mean, it was all for the greater good.
Mm.
You know, that Lazarus be raised from the dead and God show his magnificence. I mean, yeah, there's an instance of it, but it's
unless you about to raise the dead for somebody, you might as well respond the way that he usually responds.
Right? I mean, yeah, just as long as you're in the spirit, as long as you're in his spirit, you know. I would just say the spirit and leave it ambiguous and like, no, if you're in
but that's what I'm saying. Spirit. Like if you when you operate in his spirit, and I ain't saying like how his spirit operates, because you know that's spirit God or whatever, you know.
His ways are not our ways.
His ways are not our ways. But like sometimes when people ask me to do some things, I'm just like, you know, I'm doing my own thing right now. I'm not concerned, you know, or help yourself, you know. Nah, that's not to operate like that, right? But even okay, I'm gonna do it, but I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut and just do it. That's not the way Jesus did it either. I don't see any instances where if somebody asked Jesus, you know, put your hands on this guy's eyes, and Jesus was just quiet and just did his thing, and just, you know, let him go. No. He might say, all right, don't tell anybody, and just go worship. You know, go back to your house and keep your mouth shut, or you know, this is for the glory of God type thing. Like he was not just like, I ain't gonna say nothing right now. I'm just gonna do this and then walk. Like that's not how he did it.
So
at least no stories like that remain.
No, I don't think it was ever anything like that. Just it brings back that mentality of, you know what? Let me just do this because I'm not trying to hit a mouth.
Yeah.
And that's when you do this stuff in silence. You're fuming and stewing inside, and you're just like, let me just take out the trash because I don't want to hear her mouth.
Oh,
you know,
Lord.
Let me just go. Right? And then on top of that, where it gets to be worse is that that person is actually appreciative of you doing it. And then they get to the point and it's like, oh, I'm so thankful that you did, and then you feel like crap because you're like, dang, the motives are all messed up.
Yeah, you know, like one of my brothers the other day, like he said, you never know when you're gonna get an opportunity to build willpower. Right? Like the opportunities to build willpower whenever they come, like you should be thankful for that because you become more powerful by building your willpower. But if you're not in thankful mode, it's like, oh, wait a minute, this person is getting on me right now. I want to do my thing. You always, well, you know, it's interesting. I watched a YouTube video about this, and I'll leave a link to that in the show notes. But it was they were talking about the P's, right? All the P's of ego. P's of your ego. All right. And the P's there's several P's. There's a performance, when you're in that performance mode, just you're putting on a show, you know, but you're not being genuine. You know, this is what they expect of me, or this is how I can, you know, show off. But you're not actually really being genuine about it. And you're not coming from a place of, you know, I'll save that part for after. All right. So you got these little ego things, right? You got performance, you got perfection. Okay. That's when you're in ego mode that I'm expecting perfection from you. And either I'm expecting it from myself, or I'm not, even though I'm not expecting it of myself, I'm expecting it from you. It's kind of hypocrisy, you know?
Okay.
Your words, for example, have maybe ideas behind them, that your intentions behind them, right? And even if you say the wrong words, the intentions are what you should be judged on. But then what the other person says, you don't judge them on what they
face value. You take it at
versus. There you go. You take it at surface value. All you said this, and this, but you know what I meant? No. They can't even say that. You know, it's like, this is what I meant. Well, that's not what you said. You said this. You ain't gonna go by the spirit of the law. You're gonna go by the word of the law.
Oh,
right? On
mercy,
other people.
mercy.
You take them to the bank, on the exact words that they say, but you don't take yourself to the bank and take yourself to task about that. That's the second P. When you're in pride mode, I got this, right? That's when your ego gets all inflated and
Oh yeah, definitely.
convoluted, and it's a mess. It's a hot mess. We got P. That was pride, perfection, pretending.
Pretending.
Okay. Yeah, when you're pretending,
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. Our whole
Yeah.
society is telling you, just act like you can do it. You can do it. You got it. You got this. Even if you don't, pretend that you do. Right. And your ego is satisfied by that. Right. You like that. Feels real good. You start dancing. Yeah.
No music?
Is it playing music?
All I heard was I was like, what's going on?
It's supposed to be dance music. What happened? When you're in the
there it
ego mode. When you're in the ego mode, right? Full control.
Over here doing the Spider-Man 3 dance. Like that's yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, that's a problem. That's the ultimate ego expression right there.
That's the ultimate ego expression, but they act like that's what you gotta stay in, man. Everybody actually needs to get back to that place of true self. And what characteristics do you see in true self when you're actually being who God made you to be? Some of the characteristics of that are see Christ. But what is Christ like? Okay. Creation, contributing, connecting with people. All right. I had like 4 C's. I can't remember what the other C was, but it was creation. No, and in fact, it was 3 C's because it was a secular speaker. Because you ain't mentioned Christ, but that's what I want to be like when I'm in my true self. All right. But you're in that creation mode. All right. What can I add to the table? What can I contribute? This person needs something. Let me reach out. Let me connect to them. All right. When you're being your true self, and you're not pretending, you're not putting up all these, barriers or whatever, and you're not scared to be vulnerable. It's not a problem for you. Then you can do that. You can be there. And yeah, so this week I've had some situations that have required me to get into, put away my ego and get into that real true self mode and try to stay there.
We all need to do it sometime or another.
Yeah.
Get a little what do they say? Too big for your britches. You just
Contrite.
gotta be humbled.
Contrite.
Look, what do they say? You can humble yourself, or you can be humbled. Like that's the two.
Yeah,
that's all you got.
Chastised, boy. You get chastised, so you get back to that place of humility. But it's good to be. It's good to be here. It's good to be in this space where we can share. People in the comment sections, feel free to share your C comments. Hit that add subscription button and the bell notification so that you can get the latest and the greatest from Cross Culture and TPC Japan.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Now, I just want to comment on that real quick. See.
Yeah, I see what you meant there.
We appreciate the live comments, but that doesn't mean that you can't just comment on the video. Like if you're not watching it live, definitely we want to interact with you in any way we can. Leave comments on the podcast if that's what you're listening to, on the YouTube channel, whether it be live or otherwise. If you're listening from a link that you saw on Facebook or Instagram, definitely we want to meet you where you are. If that's how you're digesting and consuming content, we want to be there for you. I know that TPC has Instagram, he has Facebook, he has YouTube, he has TikTok. What was TikTok? Yeah.
TikTok, yeah.
I have all those things except Facebook. I don't have a Facebook for Cross Culture, but mainly I'm on YouTube, so I don't really
Right.
do much else. But I do want to change that. I do want to change that soon, 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 soon.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, the reason why I'm on these different platforms is because of you guys. You know, um, it's wherever I can connect to y'all. And if I see a whole bunch of hits coming up on TikTok, all right, I'm gonna put some out on TikTok. Bunch of hits on Instagram. All right, people are liking what they hear. They want to hear more. They want to see more. All right, we're gonna do some Instagram too. All right. But yeah, it is what it is, and it's good to connect. But I want to see you live. All right, I want to bring you onto the show, and but that's going to require a little bit of pre-reading. All right. Recently, we've been going through Homo sapiens. We're almost on Homo Deus, and our current chapter was chapter 13. Did I say 13? 13. Okay.
Yeah,
right, making sure. So yes, the secret of success is as it's called. I'm going to bring it up as a banner. Do the titles mean much to you as you go through the chapter? Like, before actually going to the chapter, like you hear the title, like what comes to mind? Because some of these titles are very, I don't know, provocative.
Yeah, extremely so. What comes to mind usually is more of a passing thought. So I'll hear it, and then my appetite is whet just a little bit. But for me, I think it has a lot to do with my naming conventions when it comes to things like sermons, where I'm putting that title, and then somewhere in the sermon, I kind of weave that title in.
Well, you have
so
to.
It's usually that the sermon is made and then it gets titled, versus having a title and then making the sermon. So I'm looking for, like, why did he pick this title for this chapter versus why is the chapter named this, if that makes sense.
Okay. So dakara. So when we say the secret of success, what is, like, all right, secularly, before even going into chapter?
Oh,
yeah. What is the secret of success? Yeah, or not secularly. Okay. In this world, what does it take to be successful? I'll put that out there.
Oh man.
Yeah, the big question.
I would say,
bloop.
Well, I would say that's the secret to success, period, is to sacrifice. And I'm not sacrifice. And there's a whole thing here. So I've gotten to the point that I have taught myself that if I'm not sacrificing, I'm not loving correctly.
Okay.
Right. So
you're gonna have to boost. Yeah. Build on the original statement, sir. Boost.
If I call myself loving my wife, right? It doesn't have to be physical love, just being in the mode of giving her love, attention, affection. I can't be playing video games, or I can't be doing things that just I want to do. Sometimes I got to do things that she wants to do and that I dislike, but I know that she's going to appreciate. So if we're saying that sacrifice equals love, because sacrifice is taking what you have, the time that you have, and utilizing it differently than you would want to.
You would have otherwise.
Yes. So
and okay.
Getting into success is sacrificing that time to make a better you, or sacrificing that time to show your love for others. And maybe you show your love for, your family by bringing home the bacon, as it were. But it is not for you to sacrifice family time for work, because that doesn't show love. What that does is show selfishness, and that's not real sacrifice.
Hey, hold on.
I-
So spending.
No
Hey,
shots.
hold
No
on.
shots.
Hold on. You're taking shots. Hold on. I gotta get it loaded up. The Walder, as what they call it in Germany. So what we're saying is that if you sacrificing family time to do work, which is gonna bring the bacon home for the
Mhm.
family,
Mhm.
you're still off.
Yes.
Hey, you
Because
have to run that.
think about it. If you have a family, if you
Mhm.
just have, a wife, a significant other, if you even just have like a live-in boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever,
Yeah.
are they going to be feeling loved by you spending less time with them or more? Are they going to be feeling love with you giving them more attention and affection or less?
I think it's a funny balancing act because
It's a extremely funny balancing act.
the more time that you're spending with them, the more they're going to think, oh, you got all the time in the world. Shouldn't you be doing something more important? And if you're spending too much time, you're spending too much. Like you're clingy. What are you doing?
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
That can happen, but I think that by and large, what I've experienced or what I've given off in my life is not an abundance of time off. So much time off that you need to be out there grinding in the streets. I mean, I've been the type of guy, and I think society supports this mindset of workaholism. In order to be successful in Japan, well, if you want to be super successful, then you study so hard before entering university as a high school student. Your brain is so densely packed with facts and how to think that you can go to one of the best schools. And great. All right. From there, you can make the connection that you need to make. And then, you can walk through life like you're on a cloud or something like Goku. But on a flying Nimbus,
Oh gosh.
But for the vast majority of people that didn't go to the University of Tokyo or Kyoto, you're gonna have to work. All right. And at these other companies, boy, they will work you into the ground.
Yeah.
Like they sleep there. All right. And if you ain't go to sleep there, well, you just worked from 9 a.m. to 10, 11 p.m.
10, 11, maybe even miss the last train, have to get home somehow.
Yeah, you missed that last train. Or even if you catch the last train, everybody in your family sleep. Right. So Monday through Friday, you just worked it, grind it. Right. And that's why you need video games. It's fantasy world, man, I gotta get out of here. Or I mean, your weekends, like, you can breathe a little bit, hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Get 2 days off. But that's what they really need, something like what we're experiencing right now, Golden Week.
Okay. Oh yeah, this is Golden Week, right?
Right.
Kodomo was yesterday for you, right?
Yeah, Cinco de Mayo was for you today.
It's right now.
Yeah, like, I mean, having rest is such an important thing, and spending that rest time with family. It just seems like it's a good way to cover both stones there. But you need to rest in order to be able to work well too. So I would say that, resting well, eating well, are, good ingredients, good kind of objectives to hit along the road to success. If you can sleep, under the same roof as your family and eat with your family, break bread with your family, then, that's a good thing. Even Jesus broke bread with his brothers at the end of the day. And one of his miracles was that, 5,000 feed to 5,000. We had so much to eat, man. We had baskets left over.
And
and
even God
chips.
rested on the seventh day. I mean,
And then God rested on the seventh day. Now
just
I don't think
saying.
he had. I don't think my Lord had any of the wine that he prepared. You know, when he went to the wedding, and turned that. Did he? He didn't have any.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Mm.
What a lot of people don't understand. Wine,
Mm.
in the biblical sense,
Mm.
and even culturally in biblical times,
Yeah.
might have been alcoholic, but most times probably wasn't. But even if it was alcoholic, we're talking like 5% max,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
that.
Many
It's
Shevitz.
super weak compared
They're all
to today's
kosher.
standards.
No, I mean, but
Yeah.
kosher. Some kosher Manny Shevitz. That doesn't seem like a problem.
Kosher
There was no.
Manischewitz?
Yeah, you know Manny Shevitz.
No.
Okay, all right. Manny
I know
Shevitz
the
is the one
name
that
Manischewitz, but it's
I don't
what?
know. Yeah,
It's
you
a
don't know why.
wine?
You don't know why. Yeah, it's well, no, it's a kosher wine, prepared by Jewish hands, and
Okay.
yeah, it's not. I think it's made from like virgin grapes or something. I don't even know what that
Mm.
means. But yeah, so I mean, it's made by their standards, their cultural standards, and drunkenness is a problem. But having blood of Christ, at the Last Supper, he wasn't just like, all right, y'all about to get lit up, man. No, it wasn't none of that. Right? If
About
you
to get
don't think,
lit. Oh
if you don't
gosh,
think
that's a
of my
problem.
okay, hey, you know what this is right here? All right. Like he didn't do it like that. And if they had it, and then you see the Last Supper, like the frescoes, these guys they're on lean, but they chilling. They ain't nobody like falling off the chairs and nothing like that,
I mean, but that the whole Last Supper thing, it's poorly painted. In the sense that
Mm.
the tables in that time would have been more low, and you would be very
Really?
reclined,
Really?
I'm talking about like Moroccan style.
Yeah.
How everybody thinks of Moroccan style is low tables, pillows on the ground.
Uh,
Same thing.
it's something like that.
Yeah, like you're more reclined. Everybody, it's like
Chilling.
really, really chill.
Mm.
But now we have tables
So
and
they didn't
chairs
have.
so high, and we're just like all.
I'm saying they didn't have a proper table.
What? My God.
I'm just saying they have a proper table, like, because when you look at it in the in the fresco, right? I mean, they all like posted up with their arms on the table, like a round table.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
No, because think about it.
No.
That painting
Mm.
was done by who?
Da Vinci.
Okay, so in Da Vinci's time, what were tables like?
But they weren't all Italians.
What? Leonardo wasn't a turtle? Yeah, hush up.
Okay. Yeah.
No, but I mean, it's just not culturally true to time. From what Da Vinci had, it's like, the Last Supper was sat at a table. He didn't think, okay, we should make it a Middle Eastern style table. It was
it didn't
this
have
is
to be
what,
like,
yeah,
it didn't have to be culturally accurate. It needed to match the times that he was in. All right.
Yeah, because if it was culturally accurate, people would have been like, what are they doing? Who are these people, and why are they sitting at a kid's table?
Why are they so dark? I don't know.
Why so? Oh, mercy. Yeah, there's a whole lot there. So I mean, think of it like Eastern style architecture and furniture in Japan versus Western style.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So I mean, even just looking at that.
But that doesn't mean that their style was similar to Japanese. I mean, Japanese. You want pillows on the floor.
Closer. I mean, think about it. Just the height of the table. Eastern style is way closer to Middle Eastern, which makes sense.
So we talking about the Last Supper itself was at a coffee table.
At a coffee
mean-
table. What you say like that?
No, I mean like height wise.
Height wise, yeah, probably something akin to that.
Ah.
And
Wow.
people are on like, I don't want to say recliners, but closer to something like a daybed maybe, or even just a couple of pillows.
A daybed. What is that? A cot?
A daybed? No, it's not a cot. It's like our cousin used to have one, but it's more like
I used to sleep in a cot too.
No, not a cot. It's like it looks like a
What?
couch, but then
A
you can
cot.
fold it out,
Mm.
but it's like all foam.
A
I had
foam-
something like that. Yeah, so it's that type of thing. It's not going to be the same exact,
Okay.
but people were more so like laid back like this
Uh-huh.
versus
like
being
like an arm
on the table like this.
They're
Yeah, like an
down
armrest type thing.
at the same height as the armrest.
Mm.
The armrest itself is on the floor.
Hmm.
All right.
Something like that.
Mm. Man, that changes the whole deal.
Or
man.
even
Like,
just
yeah.
laying down on your side,
Mhm.
like actually laying down with the floor, parallel with the floor. You're just laying down, on
Yeah.
like on your elbow. You just, oh yeah.
Yo, nah, come on, man.
Yes. Yes.
For the Last Supper, everybody was just chilling out horizontal, basically.
Chilling.
Like,
Why do you think that Christ said this is one of the most intimate things that you can do?
well, sitting around at the kitchen
To
table is
share
one of the
a
most
meal.
intimate things you can do,
Yes.
too.
Yes.
Mhm.
To share a meal is extremely intimate.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I wasn't seeing people's feet.
How do you think they got washed?
He wasn't washing them at the Last Supper, man. Wasn't washing feet at no Last Supper. I don't want to hear
He
that.
wasn't
Washing feet, anointing
Yes.
feet. Was he anointing feet in the upper room?
anointing. I don't know about anointing, but I know he
Mm.
washed.
I know he
So
washed
your
feet.
boy Peter was like, oh, if you wash my feet, you gotta wash my whole body. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
hush up.
Yo,
Get your feet washed.
no, it's interesting because we were talking about all right. We're still talking secrets of success. I'm not going off of that, but look,
Okay, I mean,
we're
yeah, because
rifting. It's a
we've
rift.
come
This
quite
is
a
a
ways.
rift. No, we're talking about the rift in terms of what makes a successful king, or what makes us a good believer. All right,
Or a good leader.
good leader.
Very least.
Yeah, like I see some similarities between David and Peter, mindset wise.
Go on.
All right, where they both enthusiastic. All right, and this is the type of person that the Lord wants and loves, and like he doesn't want somebody that's lukewarm. All right.
Mm.
You want to be successful in the kingdom, you need to be enthusiastic, which means enthus. Enthus is Theo, right? I'm going etymology on you.
Oh,
like
you caught me.
Yeah, the word enthusiastic, that thusio part is referring to God or a spirit, right? And so in means that you have that spirit in you, like you are enthusiastic, you're excited, you're like zealous, like that's the type of person that he's calling us to be, to have that, to be on fire for God. All right.
Yeah.
And I think of David, and I think of Peter as two that just like they were lit in terms of just like really passionate people. And Peter, he let his passion just get out of hand, chopping off people's ears, and and he also he got out of line with with saying, "Oh Lord, I would never deny you." Man, you deny me in 5 minutes. Like you will deny me 3 times before
before the cock crows twice.
The cock crows twice. The cock crows the crow. What? Oh man.
The cock, like rooster, crows twice.
Crows. Right.
Yeah.
All right. And yeah, and he did it, and he was upset, but he's the type of person to get upset and then switch real quick, David, now you look at Psalms, like he is just like, up and down, up and down. After
Mm.
Bathsheba, these guys are going out to war. These guys are going out to war, and he stayed back and he checked out Bathsheba. Next verse, Lord have mercy.
My boy.
Psalms 51.
Yo.
And this is God's favorite king, before Jesus.
The man after God's own heart.
The man after
not
God's
called that
own
for
heart.
no reason.
Yes. Same guy. Lord of mercy.
Yeah, I can't believe you said it like that, bro.
No, I'll read verse 51.
Said it like that.
I'll read. This is Psalms 51.
Is that verse 50?
Psalms 51. They're not chapters, right? They're not called chapters.
They. I think it's supposed to be called divisions, but there's books within Psalm. There's 5 books in Psalms, and then each one is just supposed to be a division.
Well, this man was real divisive. Chapter 50.
Hold on.
Division 51. The penitence psalm.
There we go.
The penitence psalm.
A prayer of repentance.
Yes.
That's what mine says.
When Nathan the prophet came to him after he had gone into Bathsheba. Bathsheba is not a city. That's all I got to say. Go ahead.
You went there.
Read the first verse.
Oh Lord. I've never heard that before. Bathsheba was not a city.
Oh, no, because it's Bethel El, right? That's a place.
Bethel, yes.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, the house of God, literally. Bethel.
Yeah, well, it's Bathsheba.
Bathsheba. Bathsheba, not Bathsheba. Bathsheba.
Oh, Bath.
Wait, how did he see her? How did he see her? How did he see her?
Taking a bath.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me get down here. All right. Psalm 51, verse 1.
First 4 words.
Have mercy upon me.
Have mercy upon me. Next 2 words.
Oh God.
Oh God. Have mercy upon me. That's what it says. That's what
Lord
the book
mercy.
says.
Yeah.
All right. That's exactly what the book says. All right.
Lord, have
thy
mercy.
Loving kindness, according to the multitude of thy tender mercies, blot out thy transgressions.
Boy, begging for forgiveness.
Why? All right.
Wash me thoroughly from my iniquity.
To the next verse. Go ahead.
And cleanse me of my sin. Wash me thoroughly. Not this is hand washing at the height of COVID type stuff. Like no sprinkling. No, you better get in there 30 seconds. In between, you got to get your thumbs in there.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's washing his hands.
Washing all and every single
rubbing the back of his hand. He's going for the
get the thumb and then you got to go like this
thumbs, and then
so that you can get the nails.
The palm, the nails. All right, on both sides.
And then you can rinse.
Clean. And then rinse. All right. That has been commentary of how to cleanse your hands. Cleanse me of my transgressions.
Mercy.
Out of thy tender loving mercies. Blot it out. So yeah. I mean, David had his fair share of acting up, but he needed to cling to God, and he was the type that expressed it clearly through the voice. So I'm wondering about, I mean, the thing is, when I think of this chapter in Secrets of Success, I'm branching out from right there, thinking of, how to become successful. What's it going to take, to become the best version of yourself? All right. What does it take? What is it going to take for us to get out of ourselves and get ahead of, put the cart in front of horse? No, the horse in front of the cart.
There you go. Because I'm like, it ain't going nowhere.
Put the cart in front of the horse. Do the right thing. All right.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Well,
What's in your
the
cup?
one thing that I see through all three examples,
Mm,
David, Jesus, and even Peter,
mm,
is humbleness.
mm,
Like I feel like it's always going to come back to that. Just knowing your limitations and being willing to break those limitations.
mm,
But when you come up against something that's, not of you, or even reconciling,
mm,
um, asking for forgiveness, hey, I dropped the ball on this one. That's totally
mm,
on me. We
mm.
need to move forward. Even that for some people is just like the end of the world.
Yeah.
And if you have that much pride built up, the Bible does talk about that. Pride before a fall.
Yeah.
It's it's
It's a true
dangerous stuff.
story.
It's
It's a true
dangerous stuff.
story. Now I'm wondering if this is what it takes for people to become successful now.
Hmm.
Because this chapter, right? It looked at a wide range of history,
Oh yeah.
and how different civilizations, different people became successful during that. You know, and I
Hmm.
wonder, like, if the things that it takes now, the type of qualities that it takes now to become successful, is this just um, the tools for our era?
Hmm.
Um, if you said 500 years ago, where literacy wasn't like a thing, it wasn't like the common sense. Um,
Hmm.
if you were just a farmer and in the best version of reality, and then the worst version, you were working somebody else's farm, you
Hmm.
know, um, what would it have taken to become successful then? Or was success even a thing that could be pursued? It feels like we're living in a time where, you know, the Constitution and the dream that it projects, that, all men are created equal, and uh, you know, pursuit of happiness,
Life,
life,
liberty, and the
liberty, and the
pursuit of
pursuit of
happiness. Yeah.
happiness. Like that dream of having that has become like a kind of universal thing, you know,
Extremely obtainable too.
and obtainable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's not hard to dream for that. No.
Hmm.
If 500 years ago, where was everybody dreaming for that? What were they going for?
Just trying to make it to the age of 30,
Like,
like 500 years ago, man, things were very
mm,
different. Um, yeah,
cold
trying
blooded. Mm,
to become your own boss or anything like that. It was more just like, hey, I want to be
serve.
alive in the next week.
Yeah.
I want to have enough food that I don't have to worry about where the next meal is coming from.
Mm,
And those are just very, very basic needs.
mm,
Uh, knowing knowing that knowing what I know about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs pyramid, those are the
right.
base things. Food, shelter, um, wanting to reproduce. Like
Mm,
these are things that are just very basic, and then you step up a level, and it's like the sense of belonging.
mm,
Knowing that you belong with somebody, that you're not an outcast in society. You keep moving up, and you get to like the very, very top. It's a sense of humor. These are things that are very
after
like the cherry
everything's
on top.
yeah,
Oh, he
yeah.
knows how to laugh. He has a sense of humor.
Mm,
That's called being self-actualized. That part of the pyramid, and
mm.
nobody was worried about being self-actualized.
Oh, the nobles. Maybe the
Yeah,
nobles were.
unless you were rich and all of those needs were just always there and provided for you.
Mm,
But the average person was worried about like, okay, where am I going to sleep? What am I going to eat?
mm,
Is it safe? And then is
right.
it safe enough to have children? Like
Hmm.
all that. And then where's my space in society? Where do I belong? You know, um,
I mean, the whole idea
that
of
was basically it.
even changing the society that you're a part of, that seems like that's a 20th century thing too. You know,
Mm,
um, like the idea of traveling somewhere else and becoming a member of their society, like, whoa, whoa, in Japan, that wasn't happening.
Oh
Like
yeah.
Japan itself had 400 years of seclusion, right? You're not
Hmm.
leaving the country. If you leave, like, you'll be killed upon return, and no
Oh,
one's allowing you to leave in the first place.
that's
Like,
crazy.
you are a criminal. All right,
Yes.
like, the doors are closed,
Mercy.
and vice versa. Like, they weren't letting folks in anywhere outside of that specific areas, like Nagasaki.
Mm,
And these were very learned people, right? Or tradesmen. Maybe the Chinese, they would come in with their silks and their monks and bring their cultural assets. But we weren't letting just anybody just stroll in. So this
mhm.
idea of just I'm just go to the other side of the world and chill out there, get a house, get a farm, take some land. It wasn't happening, bro. It was not happening.
I mean,
Right.
even think
So
about today,
mm,
you
mm,
can have dual citizenship. Like, you can
mm,
literally belong to two different countries, like
mhm.
halfway across the world from each other.
Wasn't
Uh,
happening.
That's
Like,
just so strange to me now.
I mean, like this chapter talked about like nationalist thinking, right?
Yeah,
And how nationalism itself, it it has certain benefits for humans,
yeah.
um, but it hasn't been beneficial to all of mankind, right? There's always a winner and a loser in nationalism because you're like protecting your own kind of, or the country is projecting this idea that you need to protect your own people. This is what we provide for you, safety and this and other. But
Hmm.
the other side is that, if we need to go to war, all right, and go attack someone else, then you're going to do that too. You're going to go, and that's not what people would naturally be inclined to do. Like, you're not inclined, I think, to just go out and kill someone else, you know,
Hmm.
in order to protect your own land. What you would normally do is your own job, right? And that should be enough to provide for you and your own. Um, so I mean, we still see some of that nationalist thinking. I mean, we see, um, Russia being very upset, with
Oh
Ukraine
yeah.
because NATO's pushing closer and closer, and
Hmm.
they have their way of thinking and their way of doing things in Russia, and you don't come to my house or come right outside my house with your guns and your missiles and doing all kinds of military exercises. Just like we're cool. We're not okay with that.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is what we'll do back in retribution. It's sad to see. It really is sad to see what's happened there. It's a war.
Yeah.
And are they still hanging out in Mariupol?
Yes. To my knowledge, yes.
Mm,
Peace talks haven't gotten. There hasn't been any resolution, to my knowledge, yet,
mm,
and it's it's weird because what usually happens is
mm,
that there's some big global thing. So
mm,
this time around, it was uh, Russia and Ukraine. The tensions
mm.
there.
The attention is it still there, or is it
So that's
starting
the
to?
thing. Then the Oscars happened.
Huh.
So there's always something right after it,
Mm,
right after the big thing that everybody's attention should be on.
mm,
There's something that happens that's either super silly, a trend comes up,
mm,
or it's something with celebrities, like this time with the Oscars, and our attention is just shifted.
mm. That I
And
think I think naturally, like we wanted to have our attention shifted. I mean, the
mm,
American people, if the attention is shifted, I think that's what we wanted. We wanted a distraction because we're not doing anything. We're not going over there and fighting and just doing what you would do if it was your neighbor,
mhm,
helping out. You're not doing it. And
yeah,
yeah, we'd rather just watch two people duke it out on TV or not
yeah,
duke it out and talk about that, talk about the celebrities. But this was
Yeah.
a while ago now. Is the national attention still on the Oscars, or has it shifted
Well,
to Johnny Depp? Or
exactly. And now the shift is there. More
is
people are
it?
talking about Johnny Depp
Mm, yeah.
and the stuff going on in his own personal life. That for
Mm,
some reason they're still televising everything that's going on.
mm,
But what about Ukraine?
mm, mm,
And it's crazy because my my church is actually tomorrow,
mm.
literally tomorrow, Friday for us, is having what they're calling an asylum ministry. So
Silent ministry. Okay.
they're gonna go out to um, Arizona,
Okay.
or no, not they're not going out, but there's gonna be a bus coming in from Arizona
Mm-hmm.
with a bunch
Full
of
of what?
refugees.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say
Yeah,
weapons.
so it's like we're gonna be, or well, they're gonna be, because I'm gonna be at work. They're gonna be helping people get in touch with their family members
Mm-hmm.
that are on this side, um, making sure that they have food, making sure that they feel welcome in the country, things like that. Just little things, giving them
Mm,
a meal and maybe letting them use a cell phone.
mm.
These are things that anybody can do.
But
But
not
when
everyone
you're
does.
in a different country and you don't know anything, like I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
imagine being in Japan and not having you as a guide, because I would have been completely lost. The amount of Japanese that I thought I knew,
Yeah.
no. And we have people
Mm-hmm.
who have uprooted their whole lives and come to a different country just to seek asylum. And that's why I call
Mm-hmm.
it asylum ministry, to start a new life, to get away from the dangers that are in their hometown.
Yeah.
So the least that we can do is be welcoming and remember that not all of us were invited here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when my ancestors came, I wasn't a thought. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
my dad, yeah, he came to the country, but so much of my mom's family was already here before that.
Mm.
The least that we can do is remember that America's supposed to be this huge melting pot. You know, we're supposed to be very welcoming and all that good stuff, and just let them seek out the American dream, just like we do.
Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, it's interesting to see which countries are, like more supportive than others in terms of the Ukraine situation,
Hmm.
because I was just reading this article a few days ago about the countries in the South and the countries of the South. Have you heard that? Like the North and South. North
Countries
being,
of the South.
yeah. So North being like NATO countries, the developed world. The South being the developing world for the most part. I mean, Australia would count as a developed nation, but by and large, the developing countries are all south of Europe.
The equator? Oh, I was like, what? South of
Yeah.
Europe.
Okay. And some of them have remained very neutral and not critical of China, not critical of Russia yet. And the kind of reasoning behind that um, is because, I mean, I think there is some aid that comes from China, it comes from Russia. It comes from these not exactly enemies of the West, but not exactly buddies with the West, right?
Okay.
So I mean, just like opening up their doors, and I mean, a lot of nations in Europe have like opened their doors to Europe, to Ukraine. The U.S. is opening their doors to Ukraine. The way that the news covered it is just like, these people are good Christian, God fearing people, and they look just like us. They could be your neighbor. And it's like, all right, no, that wasn't the case when it was like Sudan or something. Like
Hmm. Yeah.
What happened? What happened? The door wasn't open then. Like all this outpouring, and uh, even like the level of the sanctions and everything like that. Like I think
Yeah.
it's because you know at the end of the day, Ukraine has been a huge source of resources. You know,
Hmm.
um, and then there's no attention on that in the news, right? You don't see that where lumber, right? That wood industry in Ukraine is so vast. Like Russia, I think during the Soviet years, Ukraine was just like their treasure trove. Like
Hmm.
they got so many resources from them, and for them to split up, like Russia was hurting. So it would be great to have Ukraine back on the not the payroll, but on the balance sheet, as an asset.
Hmm.
But Ukraine isn't having it, and then NATO is nudging closer and closer because they want access to those resources too. North Atlantic Trade Agreement, like
Hmm.
let's get that
Yeah.
NAFTA going, free trade agreement. So yeah, I mean, like the door is open for Ukraine and to buddy with them, but it seems like it's so much easier to buddy with people with economic power of their own.
Oh yeah.
You know, like that's the type of friends that they want. Donald Trump, mentioned his whole immigration policies. He doesn't want immigrants from
Such
crappy
and such a
countries.
country. Yeah.
Yeah, the way he said it was like they were crappier, but like they
Oh
were
no, no.
less
He
than
said
human. But
way worse. But
yeah, no, they said a lot worse
his
than
foreign
that. Yeah.
policy was basically to not have foreign policy. Uh,
Mm,
make America great again. You know,
mm,
he started talking about how we're not gonna do any offshore fabrications. He
mm,
didn't want countries outside of the U.S. benefiting from things like
mm,
industries and companies that were from the US. So that
mm,
meant no more uh, fabrications in places like China, which
mm.
to my knowledge, yeah, it's not always the best conditions, but there's a lot of money flowing through there.
There's a lot of money flowing through.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
for us to be like, oh, yeah, our foreign policy is going to be that we don't want foreign policy. He's
Mm,
talking about closing the borders and making a border wall, which there was
yeah.
already a wall, but they
Yeah.
put barbed wire on top of it and called it the Trump wall. It's like,
Call it the
come on.
Trump hairline, man. Come on now.
Oh
Stuff
gosh.
barely exists. And I'm not coming down like the political route, but I would like to know, and the last question is what it would take
What's up?
for our country to become successful. The secret of success for America in the 21st century. Because
Mm.
are we on the road to success the way we're doing things now, or are we on the road to disaster the way Book of Revelation seems to point out?
Um,
Your
I
thoughts?
would say that we're on more of a road to disaster. And the reason being is the points that I hit on before.
Mm,
That humbleness, that loving, sacrificing for those are from a very young age we're taught
mm,
to have that nationalism for America and
mm-hmm,
to look out for number one.
mm-hmm.
Those are the two things that are just pounded into you. Look
Do
out for
what
number one,
you
be number
want.
one. And, first place, two is not a winner, and three nobody remembers type thing.
Mm, yeah,
But
yeah.
when it comes down to it, second and third place may be able to see things differently from you and
Mm,
may actually need your help in order to be valued and put in a position where others can actually hear them.
mm,
But when we're only looking after ourselves and our own interests, then nobody really wins. Because if we're breeding that into our families,
mm,
then they're just going to want to stay, and the blue blood will stay blue, the rich will get richer, and the wage gap, or not even just the wage gap, but just
mm,
the wealth gap will
mm.
just continue to widen and widen and widen.
and you get more and more angry people down there on the other side of the
Oh yeah,
wage
definitely.
gap. Yeah, it's yeah. I can't say that I disagree on that. The tip of we're heading towards disaster. I mean, it looks like we're heading towards Armageddon, man. It's a wild ride, and
Mm.
the thing is, the decisions that you make along the way are the most important. How you deal with the impending calamity, as it were, is the most important part of the game. You know, one thing that you can do that would make your life better right away. Step one.
Mm.
Step two, maybe, is to hit that subscribe button, bell notification. Listen in for the next episode of Atas Across Time and Space. And get yourself a pen and pad. Listen again, and the second time, you're going to write it down.
Write it down.
It's your boy TPC Japan telling you that's what it is.
This is Ace of Cross Culture. We're going to be on my channel next time. Definitely. We want to hear from you guys. Want to hear from you. Interact with us. We're here for you. This podcast is being basically recorded for posterity so that we can be broadcasting across time and space, even when we're not of this time or space. Oh, until next time. What, down years down the line, like somebody's like, oh, look at this archive.
My grandson's gonna be on this one, boy. He's gonna remember. He's gonna check every single one. He's like, what was my granddad like? What was my granddad like? Yeah, I was just like this, just like you. All right. In fact, you just like me. I want nothing like you.
Oh gosh.
All right. Yeah, boy.
All right. Till next time. Stay prayed up. Be blessed.
Peace.